I was the chair of the session that is called the Health Challenge and Opportunities. In this session, we in the program you start at the 12:30 and we finish at 2. There is a mistake in the timetable. In this session called Health Challenge and Opportunities, the first one, the student Angela, that we have a problem with the presentation. With no problem, we put in the second position, and in the first position, Jose Enrique, what is from the Department University of the Buddha University of Tromsø, Norway, and we see. Okay, good. The presentation is entitled Analysis of Hospital YouTube Videos as Health Reliable Sources.
Well, like Carlos has said, my name is Jose Enrique, and I'm working for the Tromsø University in the computer science. And well, I'm going to show you my work, which is related with YouTube and health, and that's been done in collaboration with Ithaca Turismo. So let's go to the presentation. Analysis of hospital YouTube videos as health reliable sources. Case of the study, diabetes. Just like I've said, I'm going to talk about YouTube, which implies videos, and how hospitals work with those videos. Well, YouTube. I think that all the people here know what YouTube about. I would like to highlight some of the most important features of YouTube. If you don't know, YouTube every month there are more than 800 million of unique visitors. This means a lot of visitors that use YouTube to search some information, whatever information. Besides, every day, each minute, it's been uploaded to YouTube nearly 72 hours of video. Furthermore, YouTube allows us as a user to interact. I mean, users can upload videos, they can watch videos, and they also can create channels. I mean, a user can upload a video, and then other users can subscribe to this user channel and have access to these videos, and then they can rate, they can comment. I mean, this is a very important information because we as researchers, we can work with this information, trying to obtain another information. In my case, it will be reliable information. Well, I don't know if you remember the title of the presentation, but I was talking about YouTube and hospitals, which implies health. So, what are the advantages of YouTube related to health? Well, in the case, we can assume, we know that in YouTube there are hundreds of videos, millions of videos. So, it's easy to think that some of those videos are related to health. And following this line, we can assume that some of those videos will have reliable content. I'm speaking in medical terms. I mean, are videos that users can rely on it because even they don't know what the basis of these videos, they know that they can rely on it. Besides, many users use YouTube as a source of healthcare information. Well, I've been talking in the previous slide about the social networking tools. But it's not all good in YouTube. I mean, YouTube is not the perfect tool. YouTube has some disadvantages. In this case, for example, I would like to highlight, because it's so close to our topic, the risk of dissemination of misleading information. I mean, when you are going to watch a video, you don't know if you can rely on it or you can't. So if you have knowledge about the topic that you are searching, you can discard the video. But if you haven't got that knowledge, that's a real problem. In fact, it's a huge problem for the user. Another problem that I would like to remark is that many videos are not up to date. I mean, for example, if we are talking about cancer. A video that was uploaded 5 years ago, maybe this treatment, when it was uploaded, it was a good treatment, but now it's not as good as it was. So here, for example, I have a screenshot about YouTube, and I have searched just for the word diabetes, and I have done a previous analysis, just a previous. I mean, I'm not clicking on the video. I think that you can read it so well, but well, I'm going to explain you what I mean. Those videos that I have highlighted, those videos, even they are in the search related to diabetes, they are not related to diabetes. This one was related about Angela women, this one about the use. I mean, there are videos that are not related to diabetes and are in the first positions in the YouTube ranking. So now that I have shown you what are the benefits and disadvantages of YouTube related to health, let me introduce you to the Health Track project, because I think that if you, in that project, I'm collaborating in that project. And I think that if you know what's that project about, you'll be able to know what I am doing exactly. The Health Track project is being carried by Tromsø Telemedicine Laboratory and the Computer Science Department. The objective is to retrieve good content online health videos. And how Health Track does it? Well, Health Track in fact is a metric. It's a metric that estimates the truthworthiness of social media content. Besides, it calculates reputation in an online health community. So our idea is to complement Health Track project. I mean, Health Track project is based on link analysis. So our idea is we are going to analyze YouTube videos in order to know if there are any special parameters that we can apply to other videos in order to know if the user can rely on this video. So now you know what's the objective of my research is the extraction of reliable health videos from YouTube. So when we began this project, our first idea was we are going to try to find some reliable authors, some reliable sources. So if we can rely on the source, then that implies that we can rely on the video. Besides, if we find all those videos, we'll be able to apply several data mining techniques in order to obtain these special character features. So, what is really our idea with the data mining? What we want is to analyze what is the relation between the likes of these likes, what is the number of comments, if the number of comments is important. So that is how we are going to try to proceed. So once we know how I want to proceed, the first step will be to find the reliable authors. With this purpose, we have used the Healthcare Social Media List, which is a compilation of health-related organizations that use in active way social networks. I mean, in this list, you can find hospitals, and then if this hospital have YouTube profile, if this hospital have Facebook, their webpage. This list is being done by Edward Bennett and is sponsored by Mayo Clinic Center for Social Media. In the list, there are nearly 1,500 healthcare organizations, but we were looking for YouTube channels. So in this list there were 631 YouTube channels, and in these channels there were more than 50,000 videos. Theoretically, all these videos are related to health, to diseases, but after analyzing them, we realized that that's not true. I mean, there were some videos that just explain how the hospital works, or just show a new treatment for the hospital. So we decided that we were going to focus our study on diabetes. So, well, how we continue the research? Well, for all the videos that were on those lists, we searched for the words diabetes and diabetic. These words should be contained in the video title or in their description. Here there are the results. We found that we had 1,300 videos related to diabetes, but unfortunately, approximately a third of them weren't available to be interacted by the users. What does mean? That the user can't comment on it or can't rate on it. Here are other parameters, but I would like to remark that, for example, there were just 20 videos with 10 or more comments, and there were 10 videos with more than 15 likes. What I want to conclude with this first study, that there was a low interaction between users and videos. So even we think that our focus was good, we can't continue researching in that way. So what we have now, we have a huge list of hospitals whose videos have insufficient metadata. We continue to keep in mind our initial objective, I mean, registration of reliable videos to YouTube. So what we did was to change our focus. I mean, while at the beginning we were searching for videos that were in the Edbener list users, now what we are going to do is to search in YouTube videos related to diabetes. Yes, videos related to diabetes, and then if the author of this video is in the healthcare list, we are going to assume that this video is a good video. So for the methodology, what we have done is we have adopted 20 queries from a previous study from the HealthTrax project related to diabetes, and for each query we have extracted the top 102 results. We also have extracted their metadata, I mean their rates, likes, dislikes, and number of comments. And then for each video we have checked if the user is in the Edbener list. And here are our first results. As we can see, if we check in the YouTube top 20 ranking, there were just 4 videos that come from authors that were in the Edbener list. So we decided to expand the search to the top 100 because we have it. And there were 26 videos. What does mean? That means that if we want to offer to the user a reliable video, because this video comes from a hospital, if you have 20 searches and 26 videos, there is approximately 1 video per search. So that's not as good as we expected. So we continue. We continue because we want to improve the results, of course. So now what we have a hospital from a social media care list, from the social media care list, and 2,000 diabetes videos, and their metadata. And we assume that health knowledge comes from health institutions. Now, what we are going to do is continue with this assumption, but we are going to search for videos from users who are active in the disease or organizations, because we are going to assume also that the different organizations have reliable contents, not as reliable as hospitals, but also we are going to classify them as reliable. So the idea now we are going to, I have called here new ranking. It's not a new ranking, but it's how we are going to classify the new videos. I mean, at the beginning of the ranking must be the hospitals and health institutions, which is our initial idea. Then will be the associations and organizations, and finally the active users. Now you can ask me if you know who are the associations or the active users, why don't you have done the data mining that you did with the hospital and health institutions? Because we don't know yet. What we are going to do is to use some filters in order to try to know if a video comes from an active user organization. So there are syntactic analysis, which means that we have done bigrams, trying to know what are the words most frequently used in the hospital, and if the video that we are analyzing contains those words. And then we have also analyzed the metadata. I mean, we have searched the relation that there is between, if a user has several, for example, 10 videos, how many of these 10 videos are related to the disease. We also have analyzed it, for example, their favorites. I mean, if the favorite videos, the authors are in the original list, maybe we can assume that this user is worried about the disease and is uploading good videos. These are our new results. Now, for the top 20 videos, we found that we have 43 videos. And if we expand the search to the top 100, we find that we have 153 videos. That means that now, if we use, for example, the top 100, we can offer to the user 7 videos. I would like to remember that at the beginning there were just 1 video. Here with these results, I have to say that these are initial results. I mean, we need to check every result. I mean, we have assumed those videos are reliable videos, but we need to check each video in order to know if we can rely on it. So, what we have now? Now we have 3 different lists. One related with hospitals, which is the initial list. Then we have a new list related to organization, and a final list related to active users. So now what we can do is what we did at the beginning with the hospital list. We can try to find what parameters or what features are special in those lists in order to know if we can apply these parameters to new videos to know if the user can rely on them. Well, that's what we are trying to do, the interaction and analysis between likes, dislikes, and the number of comments of this video. Thank you for your attention. I'm sure you have a lot of questions, so please feel free to ask me whatever you want.
We have some time for questions. Have you some questions?
Have you already considering that this analysis that you are applying to YouTube can be also done with SlideShare or with other different networks? Which kind of networks, if that's possible or not? And what's your feeling? I mean, just moving from this part to the content or recommendations that you can find in Facebook, I get that that's not the same and there's not a direct transition. Can you give us your opinion?
First of all, related to if we can expand the research. I think that if we are talking about social media tools, yes. But we need to know how we are going to check the other ones. I mean, the metadata, how we are going to analyze the metadata. For example, here we are analyzing likes and dislikes. This is easy to analyze in other social media sites. The number of comments is also easy to know, and the favorites, yes. So, regarding to this question, yes, I think so. In fact, I hope so. And the other question, can you repeat it because I don't remember?
Yeah, I mean, it was very close, very related. In Facebook, you think that only just considering likes, dislikes, it's applicable, or you will draft on?
No, we will draft on other parameters. I mean, just for example, if we have a video that we can consider as spam, probably if I am uploading this video, what I am going to do is to click many times on the like button. So here, that's why we also want to check the other favorites of the video of the user, in order to know, well, are the favorites related to the disease? Yes or no? Are the favorites in our white list? I mean, in our initial list, and this list can be improved? Yes or no? So there are several rules in order to know if we can trust on the video. because now I think it's so easy to cheat people. Yes, Lisa?
I was just wondering, is it possible to you say that the data coming from one source is more reliable than others? So, for instance, the hospital. Is it possible to spoof the system so that you pretend to be a hospital and publish misleading?
Well, we have to debug the system. No, probably, yes, it is possible. Well, it's not possible because we are going to use just the list of benefits. If we expand it to other hospitals, like I said with syntactic analysis, yes, I can be a spam user and I'm going to write in my description. I'm a hospital, and then I'm going to check it as a hospital. But that's why we are not just using the Edbenet list, because we assume that Edbenet is checking those hospitals in order to avoid that what you are saying now.
So it's going to be a battle about attention here.
Yes.
Between the spam and the...
Yes, in fact, what I have not talking about it, but we have also a primary spam filter where we are trying to search for alphanumerical characters. So at the end we have another list. We have a hospital list, which is the Edbenet list. We have the validation list, the active user list, and a spam list. The other area that we have is to analyze that spamming in order to know what are their features. So if our video has features related to the spam list, we can discard this video.
It would be necessary to create an international institution to affiliate for the accreditation, not only for YouTube videos, also for apps, for phones. Nowadays we have some accreditations on webs, like Health on Net, and some similar. I think it must be necessary to put order.
It's another approach that we can implement today. But this is one of the approaches that we are thinking on.
Yeah, but from that point at the end, it will be done by hand, and you are writing for another institution, and maybe there's a business that could be fine. But maybe for that sense, I was just, you mentioned apps. I was looking also for apps dealing with cancer, and I found more than 1,000 apps related to cancer, officially just looking for the Google market. However, there was a report from the European Commission about healthy apps or health-related apps, where it was a review done by patient associations and consumers. I mean, not a unique organization, but with all the association, all the people that have some kind of expertise, because maybe that in this way of crowdsourcing, we can do it just for free or just with the willingness, without the need and stamp. Well, yeah, just to give you the example, because in this review of apps, only 8 were related to cancer. I mean, from 1,000 to 8, there's a big which is different, and that's the way. And maybe we need not an organization, but a set of organization, or like just not that on a patient, but on patients association, because maybe that's the way. Okay, thank you.
I totally agree.
Your study is, for me, if I understand, really show us the opinion state about something, not really an expert opinion about the quality of the video. Yes, is this right or it's not really?
Not yet. I mean, the first, when I checked it, the video in the hospital, there were parameters related to expert. Okay, it was, we can say that an expert a person related to diabetes could check it. Now with the last this one should be analyzed first of all by hand, for example, a person not an expert, and then if the results are good, that is what we expected, this should be revised by an expert.
Okay, with the results, with the better ranking in that study, what will you do with that? You will publish
you can offer to the user.
Sorry? At the end, when you finish, what will you do with that result? You will recommend in a specific page, in web page, or what will you do with that?
Well, it's the idea is to use this as a complement to the hashtag project. I mean, the hashtag project is a metric that if you throw a report in
But
this,
it's only a survey. No, it is a practical
It's a recommendation portal for videos. So that will be a website.
but it's specific. I don't know. I don't know that website.
Yeah,
It's
a
related to
business origin in Norway. So
So only
it's not very known here in Spain. We can make it more complex.
Do we maybe need an editor for these kind of systems?
at the beginning, just to introduce data. Then the idea is to do it manually, automatically. That's the beginning. But now the FNL list is not at the web. If everyone wasn't there, probably we should find another white list or we should find it manually.
I have a question. You recover the comments, the text comments of the users. You have seen some introspection or something like that?
In the future, we want to try to do use natural language processing tools in order to know if we have a bad video, how are their comments, what are the feelings of their comments. But it's planning for the future.
Okay. And with that ranking is maybe.
I told you no.
I have another question. For example, you use the Bennett list as far as I understood. You have the Bennett list for trying to know what are the correct channels of YouTube that have the reliable.
Something like a whitelist.
Okay, but it's usual that probably one or more than those videos are not correct or have not reliable video quality, because I don't think that Bennett see all the videos and certify that makes it clear. The problem is, you have some idea of the prevalence of correct videos or correct videos in versus correct videos?
No, in fact, the prevalence idea is we also want to check, for example, if you have a video from Ed Bennett in the top ranking, an author, for example, this week we have 4 authors of Ed Bennett in the ranking list. We would like to know the next week how many of those authors or new authors are in the top ranking. In order to know if, for example, in the previous study there were just 6 videos in the top 20 ranking. So it is a linear or it's not. We want to study it before.
Okay, that is for my next question. From me, no question. Do you have more questions?
One comment or reflection. When we are talking about reliable, we are considering, as I believe we mentioned, but maybe a video about diabetes could be very, very nice, very useful for a medical doctor, but this is not the kind of useful information, or can be even produce some misunderstandings from a patient perspective. How you are planning to handle this?
When we check the initial results, we consider 3 parameters. First of all, if the video was related with the search. I mean, if we are searching for diabetes glucose and the video is related to diabetes mellitus, it's not related to diabetes glucose. So we discard this video. Then we also check the language. It is understood for a patient. And finally, second was the content of the video, if we can rely on it. And finally was if the video was understandable for the people. We use these 3 parameters to check the video.
Okay, no questions? Okay, thank you very much.